Hi everybody, I hope everybody's doing well. Like I say in all my videos, I'm not responsible if anybody gets hurt, and sometimes I swear. Today I'm with my sidekick, Michaela. Um, I was going to make this video about the kidnapping of Nancy Gerhardt. I might be saying her last name wrong. Sorry about that. But I was about the kidnappers and everything. Because I thought of it because it's taken a long time for them to find things out. I think a lot of times they don't want people to know stuff, so the kidnappers will be watching on TV or the radio and hearing what the police or the FBI or the CIA or whoever is listening. The listening. A lot of times they're listening. So this is what I think. I think the kidnappers, this is what I think, just my thoughts. As a kid, if I was a kidnapper, this is hypothetically, I could never be a kidnapper. Let me tell you. Are you kidding? The thought of getting caught and going to jail and being someone's bitch? No, I couldn't. I would never do that. I wouldn't have the guts. And I wouldn't have the guts to go into someone's house and break it in or go in and, especially like in some other people videos say they might have a gun, and if they don't, they might have might have an alarm system, they might have a dog or whatever. So yeah. Yeah, you would have to be very careful, and I think these people planned it. Maybe they had the person they might have known this. She might have hadn't known the person who can the person who kidnapped her, or she might know them. I don't really know because I wasn't there. A lot of people think it's the son-in-law. I don't know. I can't say yes or I can't say no because I wasn't there. So I don't know until they have more information. I'm not going to say one way or another because I don't know. But maybe it was someone he knew. You never know that he might have wanted, her to be, but anyway, because that's a sad thought that he'd want to get rid of his mother-in-law, and he would be the first primary suspect, of her, of him being the kidnapper. If he was, it'd be kind of stupid because he would be the first suspect. The family is always the first suspect when someone's being kidnapped and it has a ransom. People think of the family members and the family, and then after they figure out the family isn't involved, they wipe that out, and then they do people who I'd say like the people who the kidnappers could have been like the person who works in the pool man, or if someone works on the roof, or people who take care of the house or the garden or something, because that house is big. It's like thousands of dollars to take care of that house. Maybe it's someone who took care of the house, or friends or something. I don't think it would be friends, or it could be acquaintances. I don't think it'd be anybody in the church, because I know she went to church, but she quit doing that because of COVID. So I don't think it'd be anybody in her church, because then again, I could be wrong, but no. And they said that they found the kidnappers took her, and then she left, and then they left with her, and there was blood. I think she could have, what I think? A lot of people, this is what I think. I think Nancy could have cut herself or something, or had a new nosebleed, because some people have nosebleeds, and some people don't. I'm not a nurse or a doctor or anything. She could have had a nosebleed, or she cut herself, because when you're elderly, you can cut yourself. My mom is older, and she cuts herself very easily, and I'm getting older. We all, and if you cut yourself, you bleed, Maybe the person knocked her out or something, and she bled a little and didn't have a Band-Aid. That's why they saw the blood, is because maybe she cut herself, or she got injured by the intruder, the kidnapper. So that could have happened. Or and then you saw the thing on the videos where he was wearing a mask. I'm thinking, oh boy, you know, and he had a backpack, because anybody in a backpack, you could find out a backpack where the backpack is from, you know, if it's from Walmart, Target, ERI, or any Amazon. If you use a credit card, cash is a little harder to attract. This is my thoughts. If you were gonna kidnap, you would pay everything cash. You know, if you were a kidnapper, you would pay everything cash. And you know, I'm saying this is hypothetically. If you're gonna kidnap people, I'm just saying hypothetically, you would have to plan. You would have to plan, like, where you're gonna take her. Is it gonna be a remote place, not that's far from her, or would you take her across the border? I personally, a lot of people say you can't do that because they check on you, but you could, the person could, personally, I think I would take her across the border before, you know, I'd pack a bag for her with her medicine and make her go across the border, or if that couldn't work, in an airport, or do something, or keep her in a hotel room for a few days and then transfer her out. That's what you, as a kidnapper, hypothetically, like I said, that's what I would do. Like, bring medicine, make sure she has food, water, gas up the car, do all this stuff. I'm not trying to give anybody ideas, but this is what I would do if I did that, which I said earlier I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want to spend life in prison for the rest of my life. And, you know, yeah, these people, yeah, I personally don't think she's alive. I say that a lot in my videos. Unless something should change, I don't think she's alive, because, like I said, she is a pacemaker and she has to be on a medicine constantly, because my mom's on medicine. You know, if you have heart problems and you don't have your medicine, you're screwed. You're going to die within a few days. If you have blood thinner medicine, if you're on diabetic, if you're a diabetic and you don't have your medicine, even if, you know, if you run out, you have to go to the pharmacy and you have to have a prescription, and they say, who is it for? Unless the person says, oh, it's for my aunt, and you have to prove yourself. Or I guess you could go across the border because they were in Arizona. But this is a short video. But I don't think she's alive, like I said many times. And the kidnappers, I don't know where they are. If they were smart, they would have gone through the border. And if I think she died. Maybe she had a heart attack or something because of the stress she was under. Because that could put stress on you, being kidnapped by someone. I know I'd feel like having a heart attack or stroke or whatever, because that's post-traumatic stress disorder, because being kidnapped is probably one of the worst things. I know I see it on Criminal Minds and a lot of TV shows, but in real life it must be terrible, and I felt really bad for her and her family, mainly her, because she's an innocent victim in this. I know she could have, a lot of people say this, but she could have had better system when it came to, you know, for the kidnappers, you know, but she wanted her independence, and all the elderly people do, mostly, you know. She was the kind of person who probably wanted to do, be very independent. I don't think she drove anymore. I think she did Uber a lot and had family, so I don't think she had her driver's license anymore. So, you know, I guess she might have tried to fight back for the kidnappers, but it didn't help her. And she probably begged and pleaded, but it went on deaf ears, so the kidnappers took her. And maybe she had a heart attack. They left her on the side of the road somewhere. I'm not trying to be morbid or disgusting or anything. I'm just being realistic. Maybe they did that, put her on the side of the road, or put her in a hotel room, or she was, you know, getting worse, and they just put her, you know, like I said, in a hotel room, or I don't know, you know. It's really, this is terrible. I hope, personally, I think the people who kidnap her should get the death penalty. Even though it was an accident, they probably didn't want her to be murdered. I don't think they planned her to die. Because if you wanted to have someone die or put a hit on someone, you would just do it in their house and get it over with and move on. And so no, I don't think it was a hit. You know, a planned planned to kill her. No, I think it was an accident. Like I said, either she had a heart attack or she didn't have a medicine or she was stressed out from the whole thing. You know, anybody would. You know, you don't have to be a senior to be, but I think it's more palatable that a senior would have more, especially if you have health issues, to, you know, die from that. So into my next video, take care, and I hope, if she's still alive out there, I hope she's gonna be found soon. If, big F. Till my next video, take care and bye.